and we're just going to play more videos for you, okay? Thank you. So give yourself a round of applause for being here this morning.
Why does it seem like no one wants to talk about dreams anymore? Is it the post-9/11 worries, the post-recession blues, or the posts on social media by anyone with an opinion that have made the world so cynical these days? Are they obsolete? Out of style? Are they uncool? Do you still have dreams? For many North Americans, a dream is nothing but an old-fashioned idea replaced by the harsh reality of a modern world. Longer work hours, higher debt, fewer raises, horrible bosses, less family time. Who's got time for dreams when everyone's just trying to get by? We're here to officially announce that WSB is bringing dreams back. And we're not doing it for just the ultra-wealthy like others are. We're doing it for everyone. Every age, every background, every gender, every experience level. Whoever you are, we're here to help you. And help starts with a financial education. When people know how money really works, they can reduce debt and enjoy the confidence that comes from knowing their families are protected financially. They can discover the excitement that comes from a solid strategy to save for the future and the hope that one day they might become financially independent. But we don't stop there. We open the door to anyone to become a business owner and be part of our mission to help others. We don't want anyone to shrink the size of their dreams to fit the size of their opportunity. That's why there's no limit to how many people can reach our top promotion levels. And that's why we don't put any limits on how much you can earn with us. Success is not reserved for a few. It's offered to anyone willing to learn, work hard, and grow. We believe anyone with the right support can transition from where they are today as someone's employee to where they could be tomorrow as an entrepreneur who owns their future. If you don't build your dream, someone will hire you to help build theirs. When you know how to protect your family financially, when you take control of your money, when you're enabled to succeed, an amazing thing happens. Dreams are all you want to talk about. If you still have dreams, start here.
Amazing, 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 powerful, powerful video. How many of us have dreams? Yes, right? So we have dreams, and we're never too young or too old to go out and fulfill our dreams. So if you have a dream and you want to fulfill your dream, please talk to one of us at the end of this session, okay? Okay, thank you so much. In the next video I'm going to show you is our Facebook community page. Oh, I'm sorry. The Super Trip. Who wants to go to Israel? Hey guys, when we talk about living a dream, we live the dream here at World System Builders, right? So our head coach believes that, families that travel together are happy families, right? And we travel the world in a really elite style. We do not travel the world just in regular style. We travel the WSB way, and there's no super trip like the WSB super trip. So 4,000 people going to Israel, probably another 6,000 next year to China. So raise your hand if you want to travel with us next year. Let's go, let's go, yeah! So guys, we really travel in style, and guess what? You work hard, you could travel and have this trip for free. So imagine taking your family to a trip to Greece, Italy, Spain, Europe, whatever. You know, every year there's a different trip. But definitely next year, I'm gonna be in China. Who's gonna join me? Yes. Well, who's gonna join us? I'm sorry. Our superstar over here. Yes. She's traveling with her mom. Her mom is one lucky mother to have a daughter like her to take her to Israel with her. Amazing. So right now, this is our Facebook community page. So all of us is on Facebook, right? Or most of us is on Facebook. And so our company decided to create a community page to let the world know what we're doing, because we're on a campaign to educate 1 million families by 2020. I'm sure a lot of you see Miss Odetta King. She is the queen of social media. She's always on social media promoting. We're in 52 states, including Puerto Rico and all provinces of Canada. And literally, we every day go out and campaign. And as we campaign, we talk about what we do every day, so that way everyone on our page and everyone who shares our page knows about our campaign. So I'll just take this for instance. So yesterday, this person said, yesterday we were blessed to get to share our amazing campaign with the University of Carleton here in Ottawa, Canada. We were honored to meet with the CUSA Students Association. We're partnership together to hold our own financial education month this November. Coach said last week in New York City at my 3rd Trainers Academy, hopefully we can reach more schools to help educate the students properly. Hey guys, we're at Columbia, we're at Harvard, and now you see more and more people going out to schools, because as you know, this is not taught in schools, so it's up to us to bring this financial education to schools. And now schools are really understanding the importance of this and really opening up the doors to let us in and not only train the faculty, but the students and the parents. So it's an amazing, amazing thing that we're doing, because now we're reopening up the doors to say, hey, financial education is needed. You take these parents' money, these kids become in debt. It is your responsibility to help them to understand how they're going to get out of this debt from this education. Don't you agree?
Yeah.
And so right now we're in Birmingham, so we have Trainers Academy where we go to get trained. And so we just had one in New York, 4,000 people last week, and now our business partners are in Birmingham, Alabama, doing the same thing. So we just travel to different states and open up Trainers Academy where we build buildings and we build ourselves. Yes. So this is a live video done by our Trainers Academy. See how excited they are? So it's not just me, it's everybody. And this is a really good friend and business partner of ours, and she also does live social media. So you'll probably see her, she's on social media, always live talking about our campaign. She's another super excited person to bring this financial education to people in her community. And so this is just various people just going out, and you know, we see the Saving Your Future button. We all wear the button. Hopefully you guys will get pinned at the end of the day too. This button is crazy. It opens up conversations. Yeah, so that's our Facebook community. So, you know, when you become a member with us, right, you get access to be on our Facebook community. And so the person that bring you in, they add you to the community, and you too can share, you know, other people's pages or create a page of yourself. And with social media is the way to go. Odetta already proved that. She's done so much during social media, and that's really the way that we're connecting to people outside of just walking up and meeting people or doing people that we already know. So thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed the videos. I hope you enjoyed my excitement. Yes. And at this time, I would like to bring up the person who brought me in this business. So 4 years ago, this gentleman said to me, hey, listen, I want to help you and your daughter. I want to help change your life. And he certainly did, you know, bringing me into World System Builder, WFG, was the turning point in my life. And I'm really happy that he offered me this opportunity. And so I can't think of any place I would rather be with WFG. So, you know, he always get lunch and dinner and breakfast on me, right? So an amazing person. I've known him for many years, great business partner, awesome trainer, awesome friend. And at this time, I would like to bring up Keith Simon. And thank you so much, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Is this exciting?
Mm-hmm.
Is it?
Yes.
Let me just kind of get myself together here. Hey guys, thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate you. We have some fantastic things, information for you today. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. Don't even use the restroom if you don't have to. Because seriously, this information is really information that most people want but won't sit down to get. You see, it's so difficult to sit us down, right? To get the detailed information. It's so easy to sit us down to get all of the negative stuff, the basketball wives, and so on and so forth, right? And then it's also very difficult to even get our children to sit down, to stay still, right? So even when we're older and we want to get our kids, get them the information, what happens? We can't. You go to work, they go to work. They go to school, you go to work, they go to school, they come home, Mom, I'm tired, Dad, I'm tired, I'm going to sleep. Then they wake up in the middle of the night, eat, go back to sleep. Then you wake up and you have no orange juice in the refrigerator, it's all gone. Isn't that money? That's what we're here to talk about today. Guys, we're building a new industry in the financial industry. That's why you see so many people across the world, across the country, just really having a fantastic time. And as you could tell, I am as well, right? So we're going to brief through a couple of slides for you. The person that invited you here will sit down with them afterwards and really get details of what to do and what you need to do and what you can do. However, for now, we're just going to pretty much kind of just brief through a couple of slides, okay? Mm-hmm. Is that okay? Yes. Is it okay to talk about uncertain times?
Yes.
Yes. Hey guys, believe it or not, jobs are going out of the country. We're losing jobs left and right. Interestingly enough, what happens is that many small businesses, of course, we know are going out. Except for these major mega companies, the Ubers, the McDonald's, and so on. If you notice, this is why we're able to do what we do, because we're taking the franchising business like the Uber, like the Airbnb, and we're bringing it into the financial industry. So we're taking Netflix, McDonald's franchise, bringing it into the financial industry, franchising the business. This is unheard of. What does that mean? That really means that you become your own business partner. You become your own CEO from day one. Also, what is also happening is that there's a retirement crisis. Would you agree?
Yes.
Guys, social security, social insecurity is just that, right? There's an education crisis. How many of us have to pay tuition for our children now, today? Show of hands. How many of us don't have to but don't want to? Or need to but don't want to? Right? It's real. I sat with a lady a couple of weeks ago. This lady took out $25,000 on her Amex card to pay for tuition.
Wow.
Why? Because we want our kids to succeed, that's why. We want our kids to do better than us, that's why. But as we know, and we're here to talk about debt, we know that there are alternatives. How about spending crisis? Well, don't get me started on the spending crisis. I think that's said, right? That's why you're here today, yes?
Yeah.
How about the big D? Debt becoming a way of life. Having a $500,000 home that you bought for $200,000, but yet you still can't pay off for that home. It's supposed to be 30 years. Let's face it, guys. Who have 30 years after working from age 25? Who have 30 years to pay a mortgage? So we have to know how to do that sooner. Speed that up, right? In order for us to really become financially independent. Many don't know much, and many don't know much, and many of us don't want to know anything because we don't want to sit down, like I mentioned earlier. Right? Very simple but true. Just 5 minutes, just half an hour. Guys, we have 24 hours in a day, yes or no?
Yes.
We have 8 hours to sleep, yes or no?
Yes.
We have another 8 hours to work, yes or no?
Yes.
What do we do with the other 8?
Watch TV.
We watch TV for 8 hours.
Act like we busy.
Guys, I tell you, I watch TV for about 2 minutes, I'm out. Forget it, I'm falling asleep. I can't tell the last time I watch a movie. I'm asleep. I can't tell the I don't go to the movies for that reason. I sit in a chair, I see the preview, I'm done. Right, before the movie even starts. I may see 2 or 3 words, okay? That's about it, right? there's a lack of financial knowledge, and that's what we're here to talk about, right? We're here to talk about the busiest country in the world, right? But also one of the wealthiest countries in the world, and a large number of people do not have even a will or trust to protect their 30,000 or their 30-year expense. Talking about the 30-year mortgage. We don't have anything. We buy a car, we finally pay off for it, and what happens? We don't care about it anymore because we see something new. We're talking about debt and expense. We believe in financial education, and that's why we open this place, right? Thanks to my good friend Odetta, right? Be educated. No less can cost you more. Absolutely. Do you agree?
Yes.
We spend so many years in school learning. And what do we come out and do? We go to work for someone else. Guys, in places like China has the most multimillionaires in the world. Why? Because they work for themselves. We don't have to do World Financial Group business, even if you have a dry cleaning business or cleaning service or a car wash service. I see so many guys open car washes on the side of the road. Free water. And charge $15 if they have 5 cars. That's 5 times 15. 5 times 15 times 4. Their rent is paid for. And if they hustle enough and they even have a 9 to 5 and then go wash cars in the summertime, guys, there's multiple ways of making income. But we are stuck on 9 to 5. We also make sure that people understand that your money have to grow. If you make the same amount of money, guess what? You're going to find yourself broke. It's just a matter of time. So your money has to grow for you. Your money has to be safe. You have to have proper protection. And of course, tax advantage. Who gets their money, whether we like it or not? Uncle Sam. Always, 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 always. All day, every day. We're in, as I mentioned, the richest country in the world, but we need to cut down on our expenses. We need to increase our cash flow. We need to embrace change. So guys, I tell you, the new industry is fantastic. We travel the world, as you see. Bring your dreams back. Yes. Bring your dreams back.
Yes.
Guys, without further ado, I'm going to introduce my awesome business partner, who is the reason why you're here today, who is the reason why this center is here today, to teach people how to create wealth, how to grow wealth, how to manage their debt so that they become financially independent. It is not impossible. It just takes knowledge. Thank you very much. Without further ado, I'll introduce Odetta King.
How many West Indians we have in the house? So we should not be here. We should be like somewhere, probably laid over from Juve. Is it Juve last night?
No, it's tonight.
Okay, so we good. Okay, so we gonna turn it up tonight. Hi guys, my name is Odetta King. Super happy to be here. Oops, your hat. Just a little background about myself. I came to this country as an immigrant. I'm Guyanese. Any Guyanese in the house? Woo! Woo, 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 woo. Just straight? Okay, 1, 2, 3.
I'll be Guyanese for today.
Okay. And when my parents came here, of course, like every other immigrant, you don't know much. You get a job, and you get an apartment, and you start working, and you don't know anything. So you just fall in, and you're just happy to get a job and get an apartment, and hey, you came to the land of the, the living, the land of the success, the land where anything is possible. And I took that opportunity and I ran with it. And this is what I want to offer to you guys today. The video that we watched, the dream video, start igniting your dream. Because it's possible. Yes, it may take some work. Yes, it may take some sacrifice, but I promise you, it is worth it. I am super fired up about this campaign because I sit with families every day. I sat with a 77-year-old man yesterday and I could not help him because there's no time. There's no time for his money to grow. There's no time for it to compound. Like, I can't tell him, I'll double and triple your money Even though I talk about stacking coins, my book here, if you want to know how to stack your coins, make sure you read a copy of this. But I couldn't even help him yesterday. I couldn't help him stack his coins because he's 77. And we're going to talk about the wealth formula. It takes time for your money to grow. This is the first time in my career that I felt helpless. That here I am talking about finance, but I couldn't help this 77-year-old man and he even brought a check. He brought a certified check because he knows, he believes that I'm going to help him stack his coin. And I'm like, the products that we have to offer, even if I get you 4%, I'm going to have to put your money somewhere that's going to lock it up for 5 years. You're 77. There's no guarantee. So for me now, I'm even more hungry to reach out to people who are younger, who have time on their side for their money to compound and grow. So let's talk about the wealth formula. How do you build wealth? So many of us are going to a job or wherever we're going and we're working for money, but do we know how to make that money grow? So when we get to 77, we don't have to go sit with someone and say, my pension is 166, my social security is 1,200, and my rent is 2,300 with all my expense. Guys, it is rough out there. If I was not doing this business, I would have had no idea how rough it is. So how do you build wealth? You need money. So yes, he came with his check, a $10,000 check, but he needs time. Time is the next thing to build wealth. You need time. He did not have time at 77. Rate of return, yes, I could get him a high rate of return, 7 or 8%, but is he going to be alive in 7 years? We don't know. And it's a risk for him. But he needed the money now. Not 7 years, not a year, not 2 years. He needed the money now because his pension, we're not taking questions.
No.
His pension, we have to stay on track. Oh, I'm sorry. His pension is 166. So I asked him, where did you work? How long did you work? He said he had a great job with a union. So all of you who are thinking, oh, the union has a good pension, I would have never thought in my wildest dream that I would hear somebody telling me they had a great job for the last 40, 50 years, and they have subscribed to a union, and he's getting one. I'm going to be talking about his story forever. Because how are you 77? You give 50 years of your life, and your union pension is 166? Social Security? No, that cannot happen to any of you in this room. This is why you got to learn this information, but more importantly, apply this information. Sit down with one of us and get your finances in order. If not, you can't say you didn't know. Because you guys are not 77. You're not even 60-something. Some of you are not even 50-something. So you have time on your hand. Rate of return is the interest, and then inflation and tax. Those are the two things nobody's talking about, and this is going to eat up your money. Guys, please silence your phone. So that's how you build wealth. Paying yourself first. How many of you pay yourself first? Honestly, who pays themselves first? Just 2, 3, 4, 5? 5 people, 6 people in this room pay themselves first. So you work so hard, you get your paycheck, and you pay the light, the cable, the Netflix, Hulu, cell phone, rent, everything else, and then what's left over, you try to pay yourself. It doesn't work like that. You gotta pay yourself first, and then everybody else. Because if you do that, that's what I did. And I saved $100,000 in the bank. Because I paid myself first. I made sure I put 10% to myself, Odetta King, and then whatever's left over, I pay the other people. Of course, your rent, you have to live somewhere, right? But I paid myself first, and then the rent, and then everything else. But you gotta know these things. So if you pay yourself first, when life happens, you have a cushion to fall back on. Ideally, 5 to 10%. Some of you may not be able to do 10, so start with 5. Because guess what? If you pay yourself first, and you know this information, in 30 years, because you guys are savvy, because you're part of this financial campaign, because you're coming to the workshops on Wednesdays, if you did not get this flyer, make sure you get one on your way out. Every Wednesday, we offer a free financial workshop. So, you're gonna get a workbook because we don't want you to just read. We want you to apply and fix your information. Saving your future book literally saved my life. And I'm a saver. But there's so much more than saving. Right? So, like I said, I'm 90s. Imagine when I came here at 21, my mom had this information. If she was saving just $10 a day, and some of you can do this for your kids. If you just save $10 a day for the next 30 years, and you know where to put it because you're financially savvy, you're coming to these workshops, you're learning this information, and you're applying it, you could have almost $500,000 to give to your kids, or your grandkids, or even have a nice retirement. So you don't have to eat cat food, because some people are eating cat food. And they had a great job, they had a great career, and they made a lot of money. So what if you have a couple, a husband and a wife doing this, $10 a day? Can you guys save $10 a day?
Yeah.
Yes.
This is your future right here, with $10 a day. Let's talk about the compound magic interest. Most of us, where we have our money.
In the bank.
So, is it working for you?
Nope.
But it's still there. And why is it still there?
You don't know no better.
You don't know better, you trust the bank, it's safe. But guess what? There's other places that you can trust, and there's other places that are safe. But the bank will never tell you. So, to know, and this is a debt workshop. We have a debt workshop that go deeper into this. To know how much your money is compounding, banks give you simple interest. Take 72, your credit card, your debt, or anything that you have that you're paying, that you're borrowing money from. 72 divided by the interest, the rate of return. So if your credit card is 25%, 20%, or whatever, 72 divided by that interest, it tells you in how many years your money is going to take to double. So let's look at an example. 72 divided by 4% is 18 years. When I learned this concept, I realized I am not taking 30 years to pay off my mortgage. 72 divided by 4, it takes 18 years for that money to double. So let's say you borrow $10,000 from the bank at a 4% interest. You don't pay off that $10,000 in 18 years, it doubles to 20. You don't pay the 20 in 18 years, it doubles to 40, and so forth and so forth. So now you see why you stay in debt longer if you don't notice. Your interest is doubling quicker than you realize this because you don't know the rule of 72. Now let's look at 8%, or forget 8%, let's look at 12%. A credit card is giving you 12%. 72 divided by 12 is 6 years. 6. Every 6 years, it's doubling. So again, the credit card gives you $10,000. You don't pay that $10,000 in 6 years, it's $20,000. You don't pay that $20,000, 6 years, $40,000. So I never understood how come people stay in debt longer until I learned this concept. And once I learned this concept, I realized, you know what, I gotta pay it before it doubles. How many of you learned something new today with this concept? So your debt, any debt that you have, find out what's the interest and divide it by 72. And pay it off before it doubles. That may mean for some of you, finding a job, getting a side hustle, cutting back on something to pay it. Hey, but it's your choice. We're just gonna give you the information. Because if you don't do this, the rule of 72 talks about 2 types of people. Number 1, people who understand how money works, they end up working for money. So that gentleman that came yesterday, 77, he actually told me he's gonna have to go look for a job. On my way driving home last night, I'm thinking, who do I know can give him something? Something, even if it's just to like come and weed your yard or something. 77, why do you have to even think about finding a job? Who's gonna want to hire him? Like if he falls down or gets sick, he's a liability. So they end up working for money. Number two, people who understand how money works, they let money work for them. So which one do you guys want to be, one or two?
Two.
Two. Now, because we live in the land of taxes, the good old USA, you gotta know where to put your money. Because depending on where you put your money, it gets taxed differently. So quickly, most of you, if you have a checking, savings, CD, stocks, or mutual, you're gonna pay tax now. At the end of the year, you pay tax. Whatever the interest has grown to, you pay tax. For those of you who have jobs, 401k, 403b, IRA, etc., you don't pay tax now, but Uncle Sam is gonna get you when?
Later.
And later. Do you know how much tax is gonna be later?
No.
So let me tell you what's the real deal here. You guys come to me to borrow my $100,000. And I said, I'm gonna pick on my friend Delnick. I said, don't worry, Delnick, I got you, girlfriend. You're my girlfriend, GT, you went to school, here's $100,000. And then Delnick says to me, well, how much interest are you gonna want? Because I know you're the swap queen stacking these coins. I'm gonna be like, girl, don't worry, when you're ready to pay me back in 59.5 years, I'll tell you how much interest I want. Do you think Delnick would still want that money from me? No. Because she doesn't know how much the interest is gonna be. This is what we're doing here. When we put our money in a 401k, a 403b, a pension, or whatever your job is giving you, you do not know how much interest you will pay whenever later is. But we know it's gonna go up. Because every year does cost of living go up or down? Up. So do you want to pay tax on the seed when it's small, or do you want to pay tax on the tree when it has grown, blossomed, and has fruits?
On the seed.
On the seed. The tax advantage is where everybody wants to be. That's where the 1% are, and that's where you guys need to be. Investment, quickly, there's 3 places. We're not talking company here. This is financial education. When it comes to investment, there's 3 buckets. You can put your money in a fixed account, which is safe, like the bank, but it doesn't grow. It's fixed. You can put your money in a variable account, which has potential growth, but you could also lose. Your 401k, your IRA, your SEP IRA, and all those things. True story, another one of my clients that works for Delta. In 2008, what happened? So he went from $3 million in his 401k to under $1 million, 7 and change. And he still has to pay tax on that 7 and change. And he still has to pay 401k fees, which they don't tell you, 30% is going in fees. That's your variable. And then there's index, which nobody's talking about. So with index, you have growth and safety. So out of these 3, which is better?
Index.
Which one did most of you know of?
Figures.
Fixed and variable. So nobody knew about the index?
Nope. No.
Financial education. Keep coming to these workshops on Wednesday. You're gonna learn so much more. Talking about the financial education workshop that we hold every Wednesday here from 7 to 9. Please don't keep it to yourself, because if I kept this information to myself, I would not be here today sharing it with some of you. I would have not opened this office. Share this information with people, guys. Set other people free. Because somebody gives me this opportunity, this is why I'm standing here and sharing it with others. So don't be selfish. Every Wednesday we offer these workshops. Proper protection, which talks about all types of life insurance. September is Life Insurance Awareness Month. Most people don't even know what they have. They're underinsured, or they don't have enough protection. We're gonna be sitting down with people one-on-one and going through their policies, explaining it to them, reviewing, because some of you must have bought your stuff years ago when probably you had no kids, and single, like me, living la vida loca, right? And now you got the kids, you got the house, you got the dog. You think that $100,000 is still gonna cover you?
No.
Now there's cancer popping up left or right. You think your policy that you bought 20 years ago or even 10 years ago is going to protect you from cancer financially to deal with your long-term care issue? No. So for September, the whole month, we're going to be sitting with families. So make sure each and every one of you, before you leave today, set up a time to sit with us and review your policy if you have one. And if you don't have one, you need one. When you know this information, trust me, you need one. Savings and investment. Is it important to save money? Is it important to invest your money?
Yes.
Guess what? We teach that here on Wednesday. Debt management. So many people have debt. Student loan has surpassed. Student loan is at the top. It's crazy. Like, how do we go to school and we come out with an $80,000 student loan and we're not even getting an $80,000 job? I'm a professor. And every semester I told my students, year one, they're already in debt. And their parents are calling me to tell me, give my student or give their son or daughter extracurriculum activities so they don't lose their scholarship. Because it's more money racking up for debt. Is it fair to me that I have to water down the education system because I don't want to fail a child, because I don't want that on my conscience? Manage your debt. Estate preservation, education in college, saving, and then retirement. Come to these workshops, guys. You're going to learn so much more. So you don't end up like that 77-year-old man. Now I'm gonna bring back up my coworker, duh, it's not a job. My business partner, Keith, to talk about our awesome platform and the business opportunities. So please help me welcome back up Keith, and then 2 more minutes, I'm gonna turn it over to the credit expert. So wrap it up, thank you.
You know, they do an awesome job.
Yes.
Hey guys, in the interest of time, of course, I want to kind of speed through this a little bit, but I cannot emphasize enough what she emphasized. Bring yourself and your family here. Thought I was going to say something crazy. Bring yourself and your family here, guys. It's really important because you have to get educated, right? You have access to, we have over 500 companies that we deal with, right? Remember, I'm my own CEO. She's her own CEO. Everyone that's in this business is their own CEO. Remember, we talk about this as a franchising business. Who knows who Starbucks is? Are they making a lot of money?
Yeah.
Who know who McDonald's is?
Yeah.
Are they making a lot of money?
Yeah.
And it's called what?
Franchise.
It's that simple. It's really truly that simple. Our inventory is people. When someone asked Ray Kroc of McDonald's what was his inventory, and everyone thought it was people walking in and out to McDonald's, you know what he says? My inventory, I'm in the real estate business. If you look and you realize how the structure of these McDonald's franchises are, right in front of the bus stop, right in front of the train stop. Can you get any better than that?
No.
We're also now right in front of the bus stop and right in front of the train stop. What business are we in?
Financial.
We're in the people business. So we have to go where people are, right? But we also want people to come to us. Take care of your family first. This is what we do. So you take care of your brothers, your sisters, your aunts, your uncles, your nieces, and your nephews. Give them the financial education and then provide a financial solution, right? We're a highly regulated company, so industry, so obviously we have to do what? You have to get licensed. So you get licensed through the state. We have license in several different states. You take a license exam one time. From there, you're off to printing money. Period. It sounds simple, guys. It really does, doesn't it? I could just literally stop at this point. But how many of us are digesting what's being said? We have a proven track record. 2018, 5,000 of our team members are making what? Who's at 100,000 in this room? You don't have to show your hands, but just think about it. Who's at 75,000? Who's at 50,000? Guys, if you're making 100,000 that comes on your gross paycheck, you're making probably about 75,000. Uncle Sam takes 25% away. So if you're making 30,000, 25% of it is gone again. We talk about the super trip. We talk about your life is really all about what?
Choices.
It's all about choices. If you're born poor, It's not your mistake. If you're born poor, you don't have to die poor.
That's right.
Why do we feel that we have to? Or why do we feel that we have to but someone else don't have to? Why do we feel Donald Trump kids don't have to be born poor or die poor? Why do we feel the Clinton kids don't have to die poor? Why do we feel the Kennedy kids don't have to die poor? What happened to the Simon kids? What happened to the Roberts kids? What happens to the Solomon kids, the Jackson kids? Why they have to die poor? Financial education is extremely important. We have to have this information. And World Financial Group, frankly, is the only company that is really understanding that this is necessary. Proper protection, saving and investment, debt management, estate preservation, education, retirement planning, and so on and so on and so on. We have an overload of information, but we teach you one step at a time. Take care of you, take care of your savings, as Odetta mentioned, 10%, and after that, what happens? You grow slowly. There's a formula for wealth, she mentioned it. With that formula for wealth, I'm going to bring her back up to close us out so that we can bring our awesome gentleman that's going to just shut it down. I'm getting the front seat when this gentleman come on. We're going to quickly talk about compensation, then we're going to move and show you really how easy it is to do this business, but also show you how easy it is for you to franchise your own business. So without further ado, Odetta King.
So,
Thank you.
let's talk about making money. Who wants to learn how to make money? Because if your credit is jacked up, we're going to show you the formula to pay it off. But you're going to need what? Listen, I sit with families that has thousands and thousands of debt. And I can tell them exactly what to do to get out of debt. But if they don't have the money to pay the debt, did I really help them? You gotta make money. You have to make extra money. So let's talk about the money. How much money can you possibly make when you become licensed and part of our amazing platform, which is financial education? Because is this something that everybody needs? Does everybody need to be financially educated to know how their money is working for them, to know where to put their money, how to save for their kids' college, how to save for their retirement? Is it important for us to learn about how to make our money work for us?
Yes.
Because like Simon said, even if you make $100,000 with your W-2, you don't really get $100,000 because of taxes. So when you become a member with us, everybody starts at a training associate at 25%. So when we educate a family, we implement an account or a solution to help better their finance, whether that might be getting a college savings account, a retirement account, an investment account, a life insurance, whatever they need for their particular need. We open an account for that family. Let's say that person, I would just show them how to save $250 because you gotta pay yourself first. If they're saving $250 per month, that's $3,000 a year. Entry level as a trainee, 25% of that the company compensates you. So for you allowing someone to save $250, which they need to build their financial, 25% of the $3,000 is $750, which the company pays you, not the client. How long does it take to earn this $750? Less than 2 hours. Guys, I'm a professor making $100,000 and I thought I was deep. You know the rest of the work. When I got into this opportunity and I got my first check, and I realized, wait, I have to get dressed, drive on campus, deal with these students, deal with administration for $100 an hour, and I just made $750 in 2 hours, it clicked. I need to buckle down here. I need to anchor here. I need to learn this business here so I could go out and help more families here. Because here I'm making a bigger impact. They're not gonna go into debt. The kids are not gonna have to just take any random school because their friend is going to school. Because no, we educate all of that when it comes to the college planning, college preparation. So guess what? I ran with this. Because here is where I'm truly gonna live my purpose, help a lot of people, and also help myself. Because when you help people get what they want, you also get what you want. So for $750, less than 2 hours of my time, and this is entry level. I moved up to associate, now at 35%. The same work, but now I'm sharper, now I'm more skillful, now I'm talking the language even more because I'm growing, I'm elevating myself, I'm applying myself, I'm learning. 35% of that same $250 that I help now another client, I make $1,050 for 2 hours of my time. Guys, doctors who put themselves through college, through university, get a lot of loans, open a practice, make this kind of money and more, but the only difference with me and them, I got a $500,000 student loan. And I have doctors, by the way, who are my clients. And they make a lot of money, but they also have a lot of debt. So who would like to make this kind of income? Part-time. Because when I started in this business, I was doing this part-time. 2 years now, or a year and a half, I'm now full-time. School starts on Wednesday, and I hate looking at my St. John University email. I don't even want to go to school on Wednesday. But I'm gonna go, because it puts me on campus where I can reach more people, help my family, my faculty, and also help my students. So if you're interested in making more money, which you need to pay off your debt, make sure you speak with one of us at the end of the day. And now, because of this campaign, it has opened so many doors. This is why we're here today providing a credit workshop. Because one of my business partners introduced me to her church. We went to the church 2 weeks ago, we did an awesome presentation. We first sat with the pastor and he's like, this needs to be my community. This needs to be my church. We spoke to another pastor, and Tessa, who's one of my business partners, who's Guyanese, she told us about her sister goes to another church. Can you please turn off your phone? It's very distracting. Cousin. And you should know that better. Introduced me to this gentleman who is a man of God. He's a minister. And when he told me what he's doing and he realized what I was doing, it was just a force to be reckoned. Because knowing what's going on with your credit is part of financial education. So without further ado, I know I cannot wait. If you do not have a notepad, a pen, please get ready because this is the moment we've all been waiting for. Please help me welcome OMG, none other than Minister John. Please stand as
How's everyone doing?
Awesome.
How's everyone really doing?
Awesome.
Now my son is getting connected.
Come on in.
Please make sure your phones are off because what
Yes,
I'm about to
very
give you
distracting.
is going to change your life. And I don't mean that because I am just trying to be nice. I'm telling you something that is real. The information that I'm about to give you, if you apply it, is going to change your credit. Right? Talk a little bit about myself, but before I go there, I do have a couple questions for each one of you. First, the information that Odette and her team, business partners, showed you. This is real good stuff. I'll tell you, like for myself, when I first started my first business, I did not know anything whatsoever about credit. I did not know anything whatsoever about money. I did not know anything whatsoever about finances. And the first thing I had to do is to actually, one, do what most people don't do. Come to places like this. You see, what you are doing today, you are so unique. Better yet, less than 10% of citizens, Americans, in this country do what you're doing. Coming to seminars, less than 10%. And it starts with you. It doesn't start with anybody else out there. It doesn't start with the government. It doesn't start with the presidency. You have the responsibility in your hands to make a difference because you are responsible for you. So please give yourself a hand for being here today. You are taking a step that many people don't take. And I am so impressed by the work that Odette is doing and the passion that she has with her team, because it truly is life-changing. It truly is life-changing. Let me ask you a question. Who here wants a 740 and above credit score? Come on, let's be honest. Right? And here's by the way, I want this to be engaging. This is just not me standing up and talking. I do that a lot when I have to preach. But today, me and you, we're going to be engaged. Okay? We're going to be engaged, because the more engagement you have, the more you're going to learn. The more you ask questions, the more you're going to learn. So let's be engaged. And I have just one, because we have a short period of time. I'm going to give you so much information that I promise you, if you put this into action, you're going to be given testimonies in your own church. Okay? And you're going to be given testimonies here. And when you come weekly here to see Odetta, you are going to be given testimonies. I promise you, 100%. Not 99, 100. So I have a question. I would love to hear from someone. What are you going to do when you have a 740 and above credit score? If you don't mind sharing.
Try to maintain it.
Okay, that's one great one. Thank you. What are you going to do now?
That's what I was thinking.
What's your name? I'm sorry.
Oh, Nia.
Oh, Nia?
Nia.
Nia.
Yeah.
Great. Nice to meet you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what they said, maintain, because the first thing I would be thinking was that, like, I have to get it up,
Yes.
and that's an accomplishment, but then after that, don't do anything to get it back in the visible place it would be.
Awesome. And what are you going to do with that? What are you going to accomplish with it? What are you going to do? If you want to get a house, or you're going to start your business, what are you going to do? You just want it to be there?
No, it's a stepping stone toward long-term financial goals.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you want to integrate it with your long-term financial goals?
Yeah.
Perfect. Can someone, yes, please, what are you going to do?
When you have a high credit score, it acquires you for a lower rate to acquire anything you want.
Okay, and what are you going to do with that low rate?
You can, if you want to invest in a home, if you want to buy a car, there's so many things you can do when you have a high
Okay.
credit score.
We're not
Perfect.
sure exactly what we can
But-
do with high school. We just know having high scores.
Awesome.
Exactly.
And we're going to talk about that. Please, one more. Go.
The high school opened other doors.
Yes.
Of
Okay.
opportunity.
Great. I like it. Now, here's the first thing I want you to write down on your notepad. If you don't have one, if you need more, everybody has one? If you're missing, we have notepads.
Oh, no.
There's one thing about Odetta, she said, be ready.
Right here.
Okay. Here you go. Can you pass these out? If you don't mind. And there's pens in the back. If you need more pens, just let me know.
Anybody need a notebook?
Yes.
So great. Here's the first thing I want you to write down on your notepads. And let's remain like laser focused, because we have a short period together, but I'm gonna give you a lot of information. So, and by the way, what I want you to do is on your notepads, as I go throughout the slides, just write down key things that you're learning, key important things. I will give you some information at the end that's going to allow you to be engaged to get even more free information. Like, this is just the beginning. I can tell you what Odetta's done here, this is just the beginning. So, very important, write down why. Just literally, just step one, why. As crazy as that sounds, just W-H-Y. And here's why you have to do this. Because the reason you want to do something is going to take you through the times when it becomes tough to do sometimes. See, the reason behind why you want to do something is going to propel you to do it. You know, there's a great book, Start With Why, out there by Simon Sinek. Great book, Start With Why. And if you go through this book, it's interesting to see when you find your why, when you find the reason why you want to really do something, and the times get sometimes a bit tough, where things become hard, you will continue until you get there. But you have to have a reason behind it, right? And how does credit work with a reason? Well, it's very simple. If your reason is to buy a house, well, why do you want that house? If your house, if you just want it to look good, then you might not continue to get a great credit. But if your why is to provide the stability, to provide the family environment, to see yourself in a situation where you and your family are stable, and to build memories, boy, that's a strong why. And you will continue. So before I even jump on, and I'm going to talk fast, and I'm going to allow you to ask questions, but you're going to have to do them fast too. All right, promise. My name is George Gill, right? And I started my first business at the age of 18. Bought my first property, age of 18. Learned how to build credit. How? Just picked up a few books, came like places like here, and started learning about it. By the time I was 25, business was doing $1 million. Now, how did I get there? Literally by doing what you're doing, by what Odetta just talked about. Learning, putting yourself, surrounding yourself with people who are doing things, bringing yourself into an environment where you're constantly learning. But the thing about what I did was I did not only make it to $1 million, but then I lost it. I lost it. And back then it was not a pretty thing because I was about to sign a bankruptcy document for the business and I did not because of the people that I had around me. And I tell you that just for this reason. You see, you can learn things, but if you don't surround yourself in the right environment, and if you don't stay laser focused on what you need to do, you might hit a block, a stumbling block that might take you down. So it's very important that no matter what you do, you stay laser focused. There was a study done on 2 major things that stop us from getting to our goals. 2 major things. Can you believe this? Just 2 major things. Number 1 is fear. The fear of the unknown. The fear. And we have fear because we don't have the knowledge. We have fear because we haven't done it yet. We have fear because we don't have the surroundings around us. We don't have an Odetta next to me telling me, hey, do A, do B, trust me, this formula works. Here is proof. And the second thing that normally causes us, believe it or not, to glide off our goals is distractions. Distractions. Distractions will move you away from your goals like you don't even imagine. What kind of distractions? Listen, January 1st is coming very soon. We set a goal. By the time June comes, that goal is no longer a thing. How many of you have said, I'm going to start a business? I want to start a business. And you start something and you don't continue. How many of you started savings? And then you don't continue. Distractions will move you away completely. So one thing I want you to take away is you need consistency. Everything I am going to show you here is you have to stay consistent. Cool? So everybody's ready?
Yes.
All right, let's go. You ready, George? George, by the way, is my son, and I thank God for him. He's been with me since day 1. All right? So what are we going to learn today? And don't worry, today I am not selling you a service. I am not here to sell you a service. I am extremely passionate, just like Odetta is, to educate you. At the end, I will provide some free information if you want to continue and you want to learn more, but we'll do that at the end. Today, just take all of this information, right? I'll talk about the company and I'll talk a little bit about that at the end, but today I'm just going to start right to the heart of it. Cool? All right, so here's the agenda, quick agenda. What does your credit score mean? We're going to talk about that. Is credit repair legal? Let's even talk about that. Is it even legal? Right? We have to look at the laws. How you can take control of your credit. Resources for taking immediate actions. Here's one thing that you're going to get where probably you haven't seen anybody give you this in a seminar before. I am not only going to teach you what to do to get your credit to another level, but I am going to give you the material completely free for you to do it. And if you don't want to do it, I will tell you other options that you have. But I will give this to you completely free material. Okay? And then the last one is bonus material for entrepreneurs. Do we have any entrepreneurs in the house?
Yeah.
Does anybody want their own business?
Oh, entrepreneurs.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, did I say it in Spanish? I said it in Spanish. Here's the thing. Every single one of you have a gift. Every single one of you have a gift. You have a gift. And no, I'm not going to preach. You have a gift. You have a gift.
That's why we're here.
Yep. And you are going to take that gift and you can take it to another level. You can take it to another level. So I'll give you some free bonus material to help you get started if you wanted that. All right, the next step, please, George. Now, what does your credit score mean? Let's really quickly talk about credit score, right? George, and if you have the
the site, let's really quick talk about your credit score. I want you to put yourselves in the mindset of a bank. See, in order for you to understand what a score truly means, you have to understand how does an underwriter think? How does a bank think? Right? And here in America, the scoring system, really high level. You have access to go to our website later, and you can also check this out anytime you forget this, right? But a 580 and below credit score is considered poor. Trust me, that's normal in America. Okay? It is normal, right? By the way, over 40% of Americans have a 580 score and below. It's just the reality. 580 to 669 is considered fair. What does fair means? You have a higher probability of denials, right? Anything above 670 is considered good credit. What does good credit means? Highly acceptable, and you get moderate interest. We'll talk about interest. Well, that I just touched on. I know that. Did you see any of this before? Not yet, right? And look, I'm going to show you some of the same things she was just talking about. Excellent credit, high probability of approvals, best interest rate. And I use the word high there because I don't want to say 100% approval, because sometimes there are other things in there, like income and other things, that take into effect when you're buying a house, right? But your job today is to set a goal to go over 740, nothing less. Your job should be to get over 740, and here's the best thing. Every single one of you can get there. I don't care what the situation is, you can get there. So, can you get there?
Yes.
I want you to use the word also, of course.
Of course.
Let's seriously, let's be bold. Can you get there?
Of course.
Here's one thing that separates you and me and everybody else who have been successful. By the way, there's two major things. One is information. They have something, they know something you don't. I tell my kids, since he's probably 1 or 2, since you can remember, I used to tell him, George, you are not there. People are not smarter or better than you. Right? People are not, he keeps on hearing, people are not smarter or better. They just have some information. They just have some information that you need to apply. And that's all I am going to give you, information. And when you apply, you'll see results. So here's the thing, the higher your score, the higher the probability of you paying on time. That's how a bank sees this. To them, the higher your credit score, the higher the probability is that you will pay on time. Put yourself in their shoes, right? If I come up to you and say, hey, my name is George, what's your name? Natasha? Okay. If I come up to you and I say, hey, my name is George, I have no credit. Can you give me a loan for $20,000? That's what you will do, just smile. that's exactly. And then says, sir, are you okay? Right? Sorry, sir. No, we need a little history. I don't know you. I don't know anything about you. So what your score is a reflection of a historical, right, credit of you. How you've been paying your bills. Did you pay them good? Did you pay them bad? Listen, I know about paying really bad. Owing $1 million was not fun. Okay? Owing $1 million was not fun. Owing $1 million was just not fun. So I know what that feels like. But there is another part of it, right? If your score is high, then the bank see you as a lower risk. Therefore, they charge less interest. See, you have to put yourself in their shoes. I'm not saying to love banks, no. All I'm saying is to put yourself in their shoes. If you're gonna lend someone money and the person has a really good payment history, then you feel pretty comfortable in charging them a lower interest. Because you can extend the money over time and you say, okay, I have a high chance that this guy's gonna pay me. But if you have a low score, right, and the person has a low score, you may want to charge them higher interest so you can get your money up front. That's how banks think. That's it. That's the whole principle behind the system. If the person has bad history, I need to charge them more interest to get my money up front. If the person has a great history, I need to charge them low, and I'm okay with that. All right, next slide, George. Any questions on that?
No.
All right, great. Now, what does this mean? I call it burning money. burning money. You literally are burning money with a low score. There is no reason why you need to buy a car with a low score. There's no reason why you need to buy a house with a low score. None whatsoever. People like you who are here today, wonderful people, learning, no reason. Because you're gonna get the information on how to increase it, right? Now, what happens is this. Look at this example, $20,000 loan, car payment, right? This person, 740 and above, interest rate 4%. I'm using a 5-year loan term as an example, right? This person pays $2,000 over the 5 years in interest, $2,099. Now let's take someone else, less than 580, right? We remember, right, on the other slide, that was poor. But look at this. This person is paying $10,000 plus in interest, just because they have a lower score. And I can tell you, the difference here, Odetta will probably tell me what she can do with this. Yeah. With $8,000. Yeah. Odetta, right? Right?
Yes.
Yep.
Easily, she can tell you, hey, 8,000, hold up, bring it here. Let me show you what to do with this.
Yes.
And this, by the way, is a car loan. It's literally grabbing dollar bills and setting them on fire. That's what you're doing. There's no difference. You're giving the bank the money just because you have a low score. Let's go to a house. This is where it gets even better. House, $350,000 house. I know in New York that's like a little low, right? But let's say $350,000 house. Now look, interest rate, right? Person over 740, and I'm using 5. Some people go way below, 4.0 something, right? 30 years. Odetta said it. Like if you have to take 30 years to pay a house, man, that's not good. But I'm using 30 years because most people, that's what they take, right? Now look at this, total interest. It's amazing. In a house, 30 years, this is how much interest you pay. Look at the price of the house. Look at this. So I'm not even going in where Odetta went, but she's making a powerful point. I can tell you, she says, like, if you just give me half of that money, she'll take it to $1 million easy. Easy. But here's what happens, right? Look, with a 740, now, if you obviously pay it off in time, then 15 years lasts, great. But here's the worst thing. Watch this. A credit score, 580 and below. Look at this. Ooh. Now I'm getting your attention. Now I am getting your attention. This is why you don't need a low credit score. And here's the thing, difference between both of these is almost $80,000. That's a lot just to burn. Just a lot of money. So I think you understand my point. I think you understand where I'm going. Your job is to be 740 and above. And today, I'm going to concentrate on how to remove the negative stuff from your credit. There's another factor on how to build your credit while you're doing that. I don't have time to go into that today, but I promise I'll give you information where you will be able to stay engaged and we will be able to educate you. I'm sure that we're going to connect and we're going to do other things to bring you up to speed together too, but I want you to walk away with this. My goal is 740 and above. All right, next. I'm going to go a little fast now. The process of removing credit. Now, what is credit repair? Credit repair is very simple. It's the process of removing inaccuracies, unverifiable, and untimely accounts from your personal credit report. This is super important. This is what makes credit restoration possible. This is what has the Lexington laws, these big corporations that are removing credit out there. This is it. This is it, and it's governed by a law. This is it. No matter if you owe money, and we'll go through that. No matter what you owe, this is the law. It has to be verifiable. It has to be timely, and the accounts have to be accurate, and you'll see that. Go on to the next slide, George. Now, is this stuff possible? Many of my customers, thank you. Thank you. Of course.
Of course.
Of course it is. This is just samples of our customers. We see this all the time, right? Here's a sample, bankruptcy, like US bankruptcy, right? Removed from a report. Nothing illegal, we'll talk about how. Next one, George. Look at this person,
loan accounts, but then I talked about student loans. Loan accounts, whole bunch of them late. Look at this, delete, 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 delete. Right? Possible, right? Next. Look at this. This is from Credit Karma, right? 87 points. 120 points. Is it possible?
Of
Of course it is. Right? This is possible. You can do the same thing too. These people are not special. I am only special in the eyes of God. Right? But each one of us can do this. Next slide. Look at this, 622, 742, 120 points. Right? We can literally take someone who just came to the country from zero. They started no credit. Some of you may have no credit. And literally, we take them to a 740 and above in 12 months. No gimmicks, no special tricks. There's just a formula. Once you understand the formula, you just do it. That's what Ladette is talking about when she talks about earlier. There's a formula to what she's going to teach you. There's a formula. Next, George. Here, is it possible now for you to get high limit credit cards? Not to get into debt.
Nope.
Not to get into debt. Please don't confuse these two. Don't confuse them. But you want to have the highest limit credit cards with good behavior, with good habits. Right? You want to have this. You want to have leverage. You want to have leverage. You want to be able to, when she's going to Israel, you want to be able to say, that's 17,000 on a card. You got 15,000. Easy.
Yeah, people
Right? Yeah. You want to. You have an emergency. How many of us sometimes we have emergencies? We need to travel. We need to pick up. We need to get on an airplane. You want this. And by the way, you want the best credit cards to travel. You want the best credit cards to rent vehicles. You want to get there. This is normal. This is what we normally do for customers. How? It's a simple formula. There's nothing crazy. Next one, Jerry. This is 17,000. This is a customer just a week ago. Hey, you can't see it, but here, $8,500. And by the way, these customers are willing to talk. Like if you say, George, I don't believe that, sure, just pick up the phone and call them. They're willing to talk, right? 8,500. So, the question is it possible?
Of course.
Of course it is. Any questions so far?
No.
Great. I know the questions are going to come in a minute. All right, George, let's go. Okay, so how does credit repair really work, right? There are many consumer laws that govern credit repair. There's many of them, but we're going to concentrate just today on one, right? And that one is called the FCRA. And you should write that down. FCRA. Don't go back, George. And that is the Fair Credit Reporting Act. It protects me, you, and every single person living in this country. And it's a federal law. It's not a state, it's a federal law. So it's applicable to all of us, right? And this is what, again, makes credit restoration possible. Next slide. Now, the FCRA regulates the use of consumer information, including consumer credit information, right? The laws was originally enacted in 1970. Nothing for you to write down. But remember, it's a federal law. It's been in place for a long time. Just many people don't know. Next. Here's one thing that I will always get a question on. George, this is all great and good, but let's say I remove something from my credit, or if someone, a credit restoration service, removes it, can they put it on? Here's what the law says. The law says that it cannot be put back onto your credit unless the credit bureau is notified. And we'll talk about the credit bureaus in a second. But it cannot be unless they notify you. So if anything is removed from your credit in the future, it should not be coming on unless the company notifies you. How many times I've seen that? Once. Out of the customers that we're doing. Once, and we are removing them. Why? Because they didn't follow the law. See, your job is to understand what the law says. Once you understand what the law says, then your job is to use the law. That's it. That's as simple as this is going to be. It's to understand the law, nothing illegal. It's to understand the law and then just use what it says next, George. Now here's, please, this is super important. This is all we're going to talk about today.
Here's what the FCRA states. It says that everything on your credit, everything, can someone say everything?
Everything.
All right, can say it in Spanish, todo.
Todo.
There you go. Right? Everything on your credit has to be what? 100% what?
Accurate.
Yeah. Not 99, 100. It also states that 100% what? And then 100%. We'll talk about each one of those. But that is super important. This is it. This is it. If there's one thing I want you to walk away with out of everything that you're going to learn today is this. Every single account on your credit. I don't care if you owe $1 million. I don't care if you owe 50. I don't care if you owe $5. It has to be this, accurate, verifiable, and timely. All right? Next. Now, all information, here are some samples. All information needs to have that. It needs to. So for instance, the account name on your credit needs to be 100% accurate. Now, how do you know something is 100% accurate? Here, I'll give you the easiest way, and we'll show you a sample. The easiest way to do it. Once you get a credit monitoring, by the way, you're gonna have access to one before, I'll give you some information, you'll be able to do this on your own. Once you have it, there's 3 companies. Experian, can someone name the second one?
TransUnion.
Yeah, you guys named all 2, that's good. Right? TransUnion and Equifax and Experian, right? Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. Here's one thing about these companies, privately owned, not government. Very important. They make millions of dollars. How do they make billions of dollars? Because they take your information and legally can provide it to companies. So anytime someone needs to know anything about you, they can go to them and they pay them to find out some information about you. And they make money that way. But guess what? Because they're private companies, they have laws that they have to abide by. Right? They have laws. So the best way for you to see what is different, like, okay, George said that it has to be 100% accurate. Can I check if it's 100% accurate? Really easy. You take your credit report from Walter Reed, like I said, we'll give you the site, one of the best sites we use, and all you do is you watch. You take an account, for instance, like Chase, and all you're gonna do is, let me look at my account number. Is my account number the same? Yes, check. Let me look on my balance. Is my balance the same? Check. Wow, let me look at the date I opened this account. Is it the same? No. I'm gonna tell you right now, not on all 3. Let me look on the last date of payment. The last time I made a payment on this account, let's say you owe $5,000, or $3,000 on a collection account with Chase, or it's a charged off account. And you go to the account and you look at the last payment date, the last time you made a payment, and we'll talk more about that. And let's say one shows January 15th, TransUnion, and the other one shows Equifax, February 15th. Is that accurate?
No.
It's not. Does it meet the law?
No.
No. Now we're going to be able to challenge that information. And I'll talk more about that. Now, any questions so far? We're going to get into some examples. Any questions? Man, you guys are good. You're getting it. Yeah.
Yes, I was told that on your credit account, if your name is not the same
Yes.
on each account, that can prevent your, if your name is the same on each account, that can increase your credit score.
That's a really good point. So he's talking about the profile on your credit, right? So you have your name and then you have your address. Excuse me, you have your name and then you have your address. Yes, it actually can reduce your points if your addresses and your names are not the same. That can lower your points. Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah, it can. It absolutely can. So one of the first things that we normally do also with customers is we check, and you can. And by the way, how do you get your name fixed? We'll show you. Really easy. And we'll show you why you want to follow the process that we're going to teach you to. All right? Thank you. By the way, if you ever feel like you have a stupid question, not that that was one, but please ask it. I would love those. Those are good ones.
Can you elaborate again or repeat?
Sure. So when you look at your credit report, you're going to see your name and your address, your date of birth, your social security number. Well, not the number blocked off, right? So what you want to make sure is everything is consistent. It's exactly George Gale, George Gale, George Gale. It shouldn't show like Minister here and then George here, right? It should be all consistent. If it's not, If it's not consistent, then it can lower your point in many cases. If you have multiple addresses, it can lower your point in many cases too. It should just have your most current address. It should just have your most current address. Okay.
And how we should go.
So-
How do you get it corrected? We'll show you. We'll show you, yeah.
So you're saying,
Mhm.
if I was living on Union Street
Yes.
and I have a account under that, and then I move and I live somewhere else and I have a, that can bring your score
It
down.
can lower your score a couple points. It can possibly lower your score. But now here's one thing, if there's an account linked to that old address, then it's harder to take off because the borough is still attaching it, and we'll talk about that in a second.
Wow.
Okay? Go down. This one, guys, this is a huge thing here. The last one, credit limit. Please check your credit limits on your reports. Super important on that, all right? Credit limits, here's why. Let me give you we'll talk about this, and I'm going fast, like, just keep up with me. Credit limits is so important. Let's say I have a $10,000 credit limit, right? 30% of your scoring system, we'll talk about that also in a second, is your credit utilization. What does that mean, right? If I have a $10,000 credit limit and I am using $10,000, I am using everything. And that, by the way, is a big no-no. I've done it, it's a big no-no, right? You want to, here's one thing, this is when you're gonna hear many people say, oh, you should be below 30%. No, you wanna be 0. You don't wanna carry any balances. I can tell you about that. You don't wanna pay any interest. You wanna be 0. It's called, here's the rule of thumb. I'll give you the rule for all credit cards. You ready?
Yeah.
I'll give it to you. This works if you work it. You buy, you ready? There's no real big secret here. And you pay it in full. You've heard this multiple times, but I'll give you another piece of it. If you cannot pay for it in 30 days, you should not be buying it.
Amen.
Yes. Hallelujah.
I'm telling you, I've been there, done it. Don't do it. It's called burning money, interest. Right? So that's the rule of thumb. So one thing you want to check is check your credit limit. Check your limit. Super important. Check your limit, check your limit, check your limit. If not, here's what happens. If Chase reports, if you really have a $10,000 credit card limit on your card and Chase reports it at 5, do you think that's gonna hurt your credit score?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Because 30% of that score is your credit utilization. It's going to hurt it. It's going to kill it. So you always want to check to make sure those limits are right. We'll see some examples next year. Here's an example. This is based on our software, but you will be able to do this by hand, and we'll show you also if you want to, like, for us to provide you one, how you can do that too. But our software, what it does is we literally, because we have a lot of customers, I'm not going to sit there watching everything with my fingers, right? So I literally have a software that helps us do this. So it's a group of 4 of us, 4 employees, and we do a pretty good job. So what we do is we run the credit to the system, and it literally picks out everything that is different. But look at an example here. Date open. See what I mean? 10-1, 10-1, 10-4. That's illegal, not supposed to be reported. Right? Look at this, last reported date. January 2nd, January 1st, January 2nd. Look at this date, the last active. We'll talk about that. The last time a payment was made. Look, different dates. So here's the question. If this person owed $5,000, this one has the balance here? Oh, okay, $817. If this person owes $817, can this be reported to their credit? Answer is no, it cannot. Because it's not following the law. The law says it has to be 100% accurate. What does that mean? It means that this date, and this date has to be the same.
Same.
Yes.
Question, so because we're looking at 3 different reporting agencies,
Yes.
and because one is inaccurate,
Yes.
the entire thing has
That's
to.
right, because you don't know which one is accurate.
Very good, okay.
That's it. You just don't know. Look, TransUnion, my good buddies, right? January 2nd, look, Equifax, January 1st, look, Experian, December. Here's one thing that you want to know about credit bureaus. Here's the thing. First of all, they have over 200 million files on record. And when you add up every single one of these little digits for every single one of us, it's over 5 billion per bureau. So, what I'm saying with that is, it's not going to be 100% accurate. I guarantee you, and I really mean this, And if I'm not here physically to hold that, I guarantee you, when you look at their credit report today at home, and you look for inaccuracies, I guarantee you, you're gonna find at least one. George, what percentage you will say? I'm telling you, you will find at least one. At least one. It's probably gonna be more like 4, 5 on average. Every single one of you. I'm not excluding anybody, every single one of you. And by the way, here's where it gets even interesting. Even positive accounts are inaccurate. Now, can you believe this? The law says that they cannot do this, but they're doing it. Why are they doing it? Here's what the law says. They cannot do it. But who's responsible for fixing this? You are. You are. You. It's not that Donald Trump is going to come and say, oh, you know, credit report is bad. Fix it, guys. No president. No governor. No senator.
So,
Yes.
I have a question of
Please.
clarification.
Yes.
So in terms of looking at my credit, I'd have to get all three,
Yes.
like requested from all three, compare, contrast, look
Yes.
at it, and then when I see inaccuracies, of course I'm gonna highlight it, cause I need to know,
Yes.
you know, make sure I go through
Yes.
that list from the prior screen, making sure, you know, I follow the law,
Yes.
knowing what, and then what do I do with that? I see the inaccuracies, I see
Yes.
everything, I'm looking at it, what's my next step?
Don't you worry, I'll give you your
Oh,
next
okay,
step.
sorry.
You made me want to do a moonwalk right now.
I'm just excited, I'm just excited,
That's
I'm
awesome.
sorry.
That's why we're doing
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
That's why we are doing this. That's awesome. So, here's super important. She said a good thing, highlight. That's a really good point. Just go through it, highlight. Very important. Thank you for that question. I got a question, George. What about Credit Karma? Come on. It's free. Come on, George. It's free. Here's the thing with Credit Karma. Free is not necessarily going to always give you the data that you need.
Correct.
Because what happens is Credit Karma pays. Now, they don't use their own money, obviously. They're using other people's money. But what happens is every single one of these credit bureaus are supplying this to these companies like Credit Karma, CreditWise, the one that Capital One uses. Right? So what happens is Credit Karma, for example, does not give you Experian. They give you Equifax and TransUnion. That's the first thing. Here's the second thing. Credit Karma is not going to give you a list of all of these details. You guys are following me?
Yeah.
Yes.
The date of last payment, the date last active, Credit Karma is not necessarily going to give you those two. They're not going to. And to your point, you want to have all three so you can see the inaccuracies. They have to follow the law. Okay? Yeah, I'll get right to you.
I just wanna ask, but how often can you do this? Because, I mean,
How often can you run your credit?
Yeah.
So that's a really great question.
you know what I'm saying?
I know
Because
exactly what you're
For
saying.
you to be able to keep up to making sure
Yes.
the tree
Yes.
is always saying the same thing. How
Yeah.
often can you
Look,
possibly do this?
what I'm gonna show you the process takes time. I'm not here to tell you to like get it like this. No, there's things you're gonna be able to do that you're gonna see a 50-point jump in 30 days, a 100-point jump. Yeah. But in order to get this consistently, we see that it takes on average 6 to 9 months on average, and some customers go beyond a year. The consistency is important. But here's the rule. You can get there. You can get there. You can get to the 740s. So to answer your question, once you start the restoration process, once a month you have to be refreshing your credit. And the platform that it does not, it's a soft inquiry. There's two things, right? Soft inquiries, hard inquiries. Soft inquiries, right, does not impact your score. Hard inquiries, and how does a hard inquiry work? You literally have to give someone permission to run your credit. Don't let anybody tell you that they can just run your credit. No, you have to physically tell them, yes, permission granted. And if you don't, and they still do it, and you find an inquiry on your report, it's called removal. And we'll also show you how. Okay? All right, let's go. All right. So here's just quick statistics. More than 1 in 5 consumers have a potential material error. We just talked about it. I guarantee you 99, if not every single one of you have an error. Right? Each credit bureau has over 200 million credit files with approximately 2.6 billion. We talked about that. surveys by the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau shows that inaccuracies is over 50. By the way, Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, that's like the guys that govern the credit bureaus. And they're saying, oh, we have a problem. There's over 50% of Americans today that have a credit file and they have inaccuracies. To be honest with you, it's more like 70, 80, or probably greater. I said it, nobody's watching this for you. You and me, we're responsible. It's nobody else, it's your responsibility. Nobody's gonna do this. If it's reported inaccurately, if it's a collection account, they're not going to go there and not. Yes?
Well, we just heard of the breach in.
Yes.
And so, and because
Which
they
one are you
sell
talking about, the Capital One or Equifax?
the Equifax,
Oh.
yeah, because Capital One, those that you said don't really, and I don't really use them, which I need to
Okay.
start to, but I'm saying, some of us might be thinking in the back of our mind, wait a minute, there's a breach and my information gets stolen. Should we be concerned when we hear, oh, there's a breach, yet we're using these things every month just to,
Yeah, here's the thing. Well, once you get a hold of your credit, you should be watching.
so that.
Period. Like if you have 740 and above and everything is done and you're clean, then I recommend people at least once a month.
Just check.
And then at that time, by the way, you don't need to be paying a monitoring service. Yes, the Credit Karma Plus and Experian free. Like there's ways to do this for free, but once you get to that level,
point, okay.
right? But yes, you do want to watch it. By the way, we are not going to cover this today, but with the information we're going to give you, we can show you how to lock your credit for free.
How to lock it?
Yeah, how to lock your credit for free. But at
Once
least
you get to the
focus-
point where you want to.
No, you can do it like today. It's free, yeah. We didn't include it in what we're gonna give you, but we can certainly send it to each one of you, okay? And how it works is literally, you have a phone app,
Yeah.
Equifax,
What do you mean lock the?
lock, okay,
I
I'll
wanna
tell
make
you.
sure I understand what you mean.
You good, all right. Let me tell you what it means. It means that nobody, without your permission, can get into your credit.
Okay.
And it will literally, thank you, it will literally stop. Now, who can access it? Government officials can see like the FBI if they needed to. And any company that already you have granted permission, like if you have a credit card with them, they can still look at it. But anybody else will not. And the way it works is an app, you download it, you can do it online, but by not, if you have a phone, just an app, and you swipe.
Equifax app, right?
Yeah, there's one, yes, and TransUnion also have one. Like I said, we'll give you information, we can send it to you. And then you just swipe, and it locks. Yeah, like literally, I'm about to like lock, and it locks. Yeah. Okay, and then a second, and it unlocks.
What?
Yeah.
So if you're giving a person, yeah. So just to clarify, if you're giving, I locked it, I'm here, just locked it, I'm going out there and I give a person permission, I can just sitting in front of them, just
That's
unlock and just, oh, okay.
And you can save on that.
That's right, you save on those fees.
But of course.
Of course. Okay, you got it, yes.
I just wanted to say, with the lock, when you lock here,
Mhm.
because I lock mine, if somebody's pulling you
Yes.
your credit,
Yes.
they will inform you.
Yes.
And then
Thank you.
have to open it like that person.
Yeah.
There you go, someone is using it. Facts. Is it possible? Of course. It's possible. All right, next. All right, we're gonna move fast. I'm going with it, I'm going. All right. So, data must be 100% accurate. We talked about this. Here it is. Even if it's accurate, it must be verifiable. What that means is, so if I have a Chase account, I owe $500 and it's charged off. Right? Fine. They're saying, I owe it, I know I owe it, but now I look at my report and I see that it's not accurate. Right? But now let's say it is accurate. Now I still can go to the credit bureaus, and we'll show you how, and say, hey, by the way, not 500, I think it's 499. Don't lie, but if you really see the balance, like they add all kinds of fees, and you don't recognize those fees, you can go to them and say, prove it. Show me. Prove it. And here's what happens. Do this only if you really know the balance. Like, no lie, please. All right? It's on Facebook. No lie. But what happens is, now by law, there's another law, which we're not going to touch there, but you have to just know, there's another law that governs creditors, that governs the Capital Ones, that governs the Chase banks, that says that now, if George sees that there's some information on his credit that he's not sure if it's accurate, he can now send a letter to Credit One or Capital One and say, hey, this doesn't look accurate. prove it. Now by law, they have to give you every single monthly statement. And if they don't, they're supposed to remove it. They're gonna play games, but they're supposed to remove it. And what happens is that by law, they have to give you every single statement of every single bill that you have. You think these companies are gonna always want to do that? No, they're not. And eventually, it gets removed. Very important now. Very important. Do you still owe the bill?
Yeah.
Yes. Are you still responsible for that bill?
Yes.
Yes.
Can
Right.
you prove it?
If they legally did not able, we're not able to prove it. By the way, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not gonna, it can get money for them. Right? I am not a lawyer.
Meaning they may owe you, is what you're saying, after you've paid that. which means-
Yeah, so if I owe $500 and I say prove it,
But I think.
because you're saying 500, but I think it's 450, prove it, and they can't prove it, first they have to remove it from my credit. And second, they're in muddy waters now, because they're gonna try to charge me, and they have an inaccuracy on their balance, and by the law, they cannot do that.
Okay, very good.
Make sense? But it doesn't mean not to pay your bills.
No, of course.
All right, so George, let's go so we can get right into this. Now, go back one, let me make sure. So any questions with verifiable?
No,
Any questions with accurate?
no.
No, okay, so let's go to timely. Now, what does timely mean? Right, there's two things. How long can something remain on your credit? Right, you hear all these 5, 6, 4, 8. Here's the rule. Yeah, right, that is in one circumstance, and we'll see that. But here's the rule. It starts from the moment that you last paid that bill. It starts from the moment that you stopped paying. So, what I mean by that is, if I have a Capital One account, and I stop paying today, like the last time I paid that was a week ago, and that's my last payment. Now, what the law states is that after that date, 7 years later, then that account has to be removed from my credit. Let me repeat that again.
Yes.
So if I, have a Capital One account, $500, I owe them $500, right? And for some circumstance, I stop paying them, right? Let's say today, or the last payment was done today. I paid them $25 and I stopped paying them. Now they report this on my credit. How long can it stay on my credit? 7 years from the date that I last paid them. Any questions with that? Yeah.
I have a question. Just like you said, but what if they keep repeats, every year they keep reporting that?
Oh, yeah. Even after the 7 years?
No, before.
No, before the 7 years. Like say for instance, they know that it's supposed to come off
Yes.
in 7 years.
Yes.
But every year they repeat, they report it as a new year, so.
Yes,
it
thank you.
stays
That's a
on.
really good question. Just go back really quickly to the date of last activity where it shows the image, the inaccuracies. Okay, that's a really good question. Here's the thing, date last active. That's to our point, right? Let's say that truly the date last active is in 2018, in December. What companies will do just to hurt you and just to make you pay, they will actually change the date. They'll report it as most recent. I'm not saying all of them are doing this, some of them are not doing it on purpose, but some of them, collectors, they're notorious. Here's why they do this. They change the date to the most recent date so your credit score can be impacted the most.
Yeah, but when you follow it and do what you're telling us to do, we can catch that.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
that's okay.
Yes. But this is to our point. If they can do this, they can't legally, but they do it. And the reason why they do this, by the way, they move it up to a former date, is because anything within 2 years, you want to write this one down too, anything within 2 years hurts your credit score the most. Any late payments within 2 years hurt your credit score the most. Any collections within 2 years hurts your credit score the most. Anything after 2 years, the score begins to change. So anything. So what they do is, guess what? They try to keep it within the 2 years to prevent you from getting what you want, so you pay them. That makes sense?
Yeah.
All right. Don't worry, we'll get to how you get there.
Okay, any questions? Now, there's something that's called statute of limitations. Anybody heard of this thing?
Yes.
Yeah, we all have rights, right? Every state is different.
I'm sorry, one more,
Yeah.
but it's 2 years, so that's late payment and what else?
Anything. Anything within 2 years that's reported to your credit within 2 years impacts that score the most. Anything. All right? And we'll show you an example of what happens when you get a 740 and above credit score, or if you're already there. And one late payment, we'll show you what happens. We'll show you. That's why every single customer that graduates from our program, we tell them, hey, congrats. Now you need to be like World Data is with someone here who can be guiding you on a weekly, so you don't get to that point where you pay things late. You want cash flow, you want money coming in, so you don't get into that situation. We'll show you what happens. After all this work, what happens when you do. Any other questions? But what is it that I was going to talk about? Statute of limitations. Every state is different. It depends on the state and the debt. In New York, for instance, most debts are within 6 years. Yeah. What that means is that if I owe Capital One $15,000 and it's outside of 6 years, can they bill me? Sure. Can they come and knock on my door? Sure. Can I tell them to stop? Yes, legally I can. By paper, I tell them just cease and desist every single thing, and they have to stop. But what happens is, can they take me to court? Sure, they can try after 6 years, but I just have to say, hey, statute of limitation is up. The judge says, adios. Because what happens is, once the statute of limitation is up, they can no longer force you to pay the debt. They can ask you to, but they cannot take you to, they can try, but most of them don't, but they cannot force you to pay. They cannot put a judgment on you. They can't do any of that. Now, here's one very important note. Here's one very important note. How can you reset that date? I know some of you are like already noticed. Anybody knows? So if I'm up to 7 years, right, with Capital One, how can I reset that date and start from year one? I don't want to do that. It would be crazy. Right? You understand where I'm going? In other words, I owe Capital One $15,000. The 6th year is almost up for the statute of limitation. What can I do? Not that I wanted to, but if I do something, it will restart the clock all over.
Make a payment?
Make a payment. Make a payment. Now what happens is I can be literally 99.99 and tomorrow is 7 years, and they call and they say, hey, Mr. Gale,
pay this little man.
Can you just, listen, we'll work with you. Just $1. $1? I'll do that, no problem. $1, clock starts. All over again. All over again. That's why here's the rule of thumb. Please remember this. If anything is reported on your credit, such as a collection, right? We'll show you the steps on how to get it removed. We'll give you the steps. We'll even give you the documents on how to do this. Okay. But if there's a collection and you get to the point where you have to settle with them, please, let me say this the right way. There's something called negotiation. Okay. There's something called save. There's something called, right? It's America. You can negotiate. It's legal, by the way. Yeah. If you cannot afford it to pay the full bill, it's called, hey, I can pay 30%. By the way, these companies, collectors buy the debt on 10 cents on the dollar. In other words, that $5,000 debt, right? They bought it for 500 or less. Right? So anytime we're negotiating for customers, or we're telling customers how to negotiate, we tell them, below 30%, buddy, hey, like, he is trying to get to a place where they're financially stable. No, 30%. And you know what they'll say? Yeah, we'll do that. Because it's either they take something or nothing. So you always want to negotiate. And here's the thing, please remember this, very important. Don't ever negotiate and let them keep it on your credit. This is a very important law. You remember the FCRA? Everything has to be reported accurate. Here's the rule with everything in the United States. They don't have to report it at all. If they report it, it has to be accurate. But there's no law in the United States that says that every single credit card company has to report on your credit. There's no law that says that every bank has to report on your bank. It's optional for them. Remember that. So what happens is, because they reported it, now they can also get, well, guess what? Remove it. They'll play games and they'll say, oh, the FCRA. No, you can say, hey, I know the FCRA.
See, but if it's optional and I can ask them to, that doesn't mean that they will take it
No,
off.
but here's it, you're the creditor, I owe you $5,000, right?
Mhm.
We negotiate, you say, George, I say, hey, listen, I know the statute of limitation is almost up. Are you willing to take 2,000? You say, give me 3. I said, okay, 2,005. You say, okay, great. I say, hey, I'll give you the check as soon as this thing comes off.
Okay, gotcha.
Hey, and by the way, it's in writing. I'll give you the check, but it's in writing that this payment, right, also represents the removal. There you go.
So you don't pay until they move?
No, you pay, but it's literally, it's on a document that they will give you. You ask them for a document that says that they will remove this, right, at the same time when you're paying. You should never, never, never pay without them removing something.
They cannot lie to you?
Huh? They will lie. No, they will tell you, oh, we can't, FCR. That's why I said, you know, I know the law, sir. I was at this seminar. I was right. I know the law.
What's it called, FC what?
FCRA. Yep. That's right. Don't pay collectors unless they remove this. Please don't. Please don't.
Yeah, the game is you pay me, I remove it. Or I remove and you pay me.
No. If you're the collector, right, I will tell you, please provide me a document stating that upon me paying you, you will remove this information from my credit. And then guess what I do with that document? Send it off to the credit bureaus.
What do you do?
I send them off to the credit.
Make a copy for yourself.
They're gonna do it, but if I wanna get it off faster, hey, credit bureaus, look, send the payment. Look, off.
But this only applies to debt that are in collection, correct?
No, it applies to credit companies like Capital One and these companies. They don't normally do collections at the most, but I'll show you like what you do with this other case. Because what happens is you do pay the Capital Ones, but they still remain, all this negative information still remains there. But there's a way to clean it up. And the way you do that is literally by looking at the differences. And you go to the credit bureaus and you say, difference 1, difference 2, difference 3, remove it. And we'll show you the letters.
Okay.
Yep.
What is considered late payment? Meaning,
Yeah.
I know that after the date that is due is really late, but sometimes we tend to think that after the day on or the day before.
Yeah, that's a great. So the law states anything over 30 days they have the right to report. Anything after 30 days they have the right to report. But if they report 30 and then Capital One, I'm sorry, if Experian reports 30 days and then Equifax says it was paid on time, is that accurate?
No.
Guess what? You can do what now? Challenge that. And by the way, I'm going to say one more thing. You can also write a letter to the Capital Ones, to the Bank of Americans and tell them, listen, I've never been late on this account. Right? You're reporting that I was late, and make sure you're not lying. I was never late on this account, and now you reported 130 days late payment. Please correct this. I am a valuable customer.
Can't you hit away?
And then, that's exactly what I'm saying. And by the way, most of them, a lot of times, will do that. If you really have a good payment track history. So, right, like, let's say, for instance, let's say I was late. It's because I missed it. Some emergency, something happened. I can now go to the company and say, because remember, it's optional for them to report. It's not mandated. Now they can also correct it. They can send it to the credit. They're going to play sometimes games and say, we can't. Yes, you can. Right? There's no law that says you can't. Yeah. I'm sorry, you was going to ask? Yeah.
I noticed that out of the 3 credit bureaus, Experian always produces the lowest score.
So, yeah, here's things that we're not going to get. How much time I have with it?
That's fine, you can keep going.
Okay. I don't want to. I know you guys are hungry too, right? Okay. All right. Don't worry. I'll keep going with this. Here's the information. Here's the room. There's 2 types of credit scores today. There's what's called FICO, right? And then you have what's called Vantage score. There is actually another one, Vantage. FICO, F-I-C-O, and then you have Vantage. Vantage, right? V-A-N-T-A-G-E score. What is the difference? Quick history, 30-second history. FICO has been around for a very long time. FICO is actually a company, right? FICO is actually a company, and it's separate from the credit bureaus. Yeah, I know you always think it's all with one, but it's actually a separate company from the credit bureaus. And what happens is that the credit bureaus have to use, back in the days, FICO. So they literally have to pay FICO to show the score. It's all a business, man, right? So now what happens is there are ingredients to your FICO credit score. We'll talk quickly in a minute about those ingredients. So what the credit bureaus decided, all three of them, is they said, hey, we're paying these guys like millions of dollars every year just to use their scoring system. You want to guess what they did? They came up with their own, and they called it Vantage. So when you look at your Credit Karma, you are looking at your Vantage credit score. What is the difference? Mortgages, car loans, right? Banks, many banks utilize for loans your FICO score, right? Credit card companies utilize a lot of times your Vantage score. Vantage just recently started, I think it was in 2099. So it's not as stable as your FICO. In other words, it's not as well known as your FICO. You never heard Vantage before. Many of you have never heard of you. Every time you look on your how many of you know Credit Karma? Yeah, there you go. How many of you use it? Yeah. But you never knew that you were watching your Vantage score. Right? So here's the rule of thumb. You want to know both before you go and you make that major purchase. So what we normally do when we're restoring credit is we see where the Vantage is at, because it's Credit Karma and these other companies I will show you, and then we get it as high as we can. Now, in the middle of the process, you want to look at what your FICO is at, because it's going to tell you 740, 760, you want to be there with your FICO if you're going to go buy a house. But if you're not, you can keep looking at your Vantage. But you want to know where your FICO is always at. You always want to have some type of information, at least once, twice a year, so you know where it's at. Make sense?
Yeah.
Any questions? No?
Where do they go to get their scores supposed to free once they are?
Yeah, I'll give you where you get your Vantage. It's going to be completely free. It's going to go to your phone. And the FICO, we can also send each one of you a link for the best place to pull your FICO. Thank you.
I'm sorry, this is kind of going back to the time frame in which you can clear something on your credit report. So basically, you're saying that let's say you have an unpaid bill.
Yes.
From a credit card company or something.
Yes.
So you're saying that they basically give you a period of time before you can write it off, basically? Like if you have a certain number, that was kind of a bit confused about.
Sure, well the credit card companies, the way they work is, once you're 30 days late, right, the clock begins.
Yeah.
60 days, now the clock is even getting worse.
Right.
90 days, even worse. And then after 90 days, it's normally a charge-off. It's normally charge-off. That's when you normally see on your credit charge-off, because it went beyond 90 days.
Right.
Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, and then like I'm saying, when you take into account a lot of these unpaid, say bills, or
Yes.
whatever payments you have to make, and you're saying that there's a certain point they give you to clear that off your credit, and if you don't.
Well, 7 years.
The statute of limitation.
Oh, the statute of limitation is for the collector or the creditor to come after you.
Okay.
Right, that's 6 years, 5 years, depending on, you can look this up, just look up statute of limitations, Google that, right? And you will be able to see that, statute of limitations in New York, make sure you put your state. But the amount of time it can remain on your credit, right, it's 7 years for credit cards, companies, it's 7 years from the last time you paid them. Now, how do you know the last time you paid them? You can literally send them a letter saying, you're reporting some stuff that is not accurate on my report. Please send me the last time I paid this account. And by law, they have to give it to you. You can call them, but always do things by mail. We'll tell you why in a second too. Yeah.
Paper trail.
Yeah, paper trail. And by the way, I'll tell you really quick, right, since you already said this now. If you send the credit bureaus a letter by mail, you're holding them liable. If you don't do this and you dispute over the internet, you are taking your right away from suing them in the future if you need to. There is a tiny little wording on their websites that says that if you use their electronic method to dispute, that you cannot sue them. They play games. Right? But if you send them letters, you can sue them. They don't like letters. They don't like it.
So letters, not emails.
No, sir. Nothing electronic. Everything by paper.
Yes.
And I suggest you to send it. And, yeah, this is how we do it, guys. This is how the professionals do it. This is how the big boys do it. I'm telling you, they're probably not going to like it, but I'm telling you. Right? Next step. Okay, so we talked about the 100%. All right, let's go, George. Now, here's two things that are going to hurt your credit. The most. This will hurt your credit a lot. Let's say, I don't want to use a dad. Let's use my son. Can I use him?
Yeah.
Boy's going to have a 780 very soon.
Yes.
780 very soon.
Yes.
By the way, yeah, I'm serious. I'm not even kidding you, right? Like, he better, right? Like, this better not happen to him. But here's the thing. This can happen to any one of us. Here's the rule. Once your credit score goes above 740, 700s, you want to watch that guy. You want to protect it. You want to secure it. Please, I should not say this, but I'm going to say it. Be careful about lending your credit out to friends.
Hallelujah.
Just be careful. So many customers come to us and they're like, man, George, you should know. I'm like, probably I already do. You lent your credit. Man, my boyfriend, my girlfriend, you know, I bought a house, I bought a car, and next thing you know, now I'm liable for it. Next thing you know, I saw someone else in the car. Now, can you believe this? I have to pay the bill and someone else is in there. You signed the document. You're liable. But what happens is, once you get there, and hear what I'm saying, once you get there, because you will get there. You will. If you do this stuff, you will get there. Once you get over 700s, if you have one late payment, one late payment, this can happen to you.
Yes.
I've had customers, not at all, we've had one or two that started, they were doing awesome. Man, we were jumping. I celebrate every time that someone does everything good. I really do something. My son and my wife, they're like, George goes crazy for people. I do. I'm like, I just love seeing people make progress and succeed. It's like a passion that God has given me.
So how long can you be back?
Huh?
After you've fallen from grace, how long
Oh,
can you
man. That's a good question. But here's the rule. Yes, if you're in the 700s, this can happen to you. Easy. Right? Very easy. One late payment. Because what the system does is their system says, he's in trouble. He is late. You see, they don't know that there was a mistake. They don't know that an emergency happened. The system doesn't know that. So the way it's built, it says, George was late. It means he can't pay his bill. One time. It means he can't pay his bill. Therefore, all creditors, watch out. You guys are paying us to tell you this. So here you go. He is in trouble. And they lower you to this point. Now, here's one thing that you want to keep in mind. I know it's a lot of information, guys. Just stay with me. This is one thing you want to keep in mind. Credit bureaus make more money when you're here. Always remember that. They make more money when you're in the 500s, 400s, 300s. You say, what? 3? Yeah, people are there. Right? Well, here's why they make more money. Because now when companies like Credit One Bank, nothing against them, this is just what they do, they look for people who are here. So they go to the credit bureaus and they say, send me everyone who's within 500 to 590, for example. Because I am going to give them a credit card that's going to charge them 18-28% interest. And I am going to be able to make money. So the credit bureaus are like, whoop, whoop. We will give you the files. So the credit bureaus don't make money off the people who are in the 700s like you will. B, they make money off the people who are here.
So the bank give them something?
No, what happens is I am Credit One Bank, right? And I need to know in Brooklyn how many people are here. You're the credit bureau. So now I come to you and I say, hey, credit bureau, Equifax, TransUnion, Experian, can you give me a list of everybody in the 500s? And they're gonna. And by the way, how much are you gonna charge me? You're gonna say, I'll charge you $50 per person. I'm just giving a number. I say, sure, whoop, because I know I'll make that back easy if I'm giving these guys sending them letters. Who has gotten the letters from Credit One Bank?
Of course.
Yeah. Yeah. This is how they make money. So they want you to remain there because it's just their business model. Yeah,
That's it, but here, they make money from this. Right? Now, your job is to get out of that rat race and to get above the 700s here.
I just wanna make sure that I'm understanding.
Yes.
So, Credit One would pay for this information. And the credit bureau sends them every person who's in that category.
Yeah, that's how they do
at a fee.
Yes. Oh, no, the credit bureau's
So
hiring
when your
money.
address is flooded with all these little card companies
That's it.
offering
That's
their
it.
card, that's it.
George, give her a high five, man. You collected the dots. That's how it works. Yes.
How about student loans?
Yes.
Is there, I know the most likely is the accuracy issue, but how about the timely issue?
Yeah. So everything that applies to everything. Mortgages, bankruptcies, collections, everything. There's
I
nothing
mean,
that
you
escapes
feel
this.
good when you can get a call.
Make sense? Yeah.
Short sale on the house,
Short sale.
mess you up.
Yes. Short sales, repos. I was there
I was there too.
2 times. Did I beat you?
Huh?
Thank you. I'm so transparent. People will be like, oh, really? You? Come on. Of course I was there.
4 years ago.
Right? Of course I was there. Like in the church, I'm like, man, he's transparent. Of course. Right? If I'm going to be doing this, I might as well. So yes, here's the thing. Here's the rule with any of this. The rule is, did they follow the law? If they did not, out. I'm not saying don't pay your bills. I'm saying, did they follow the law? Accurate, verifiable, timely. That's it.
What's the law in this case, George?
Which one?
You said I follow the law. I wanna follow the law. What is the law?
So the law is that. When you look at your credit
Oh, you
report,
mean timely, accurate?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
yes,
I'm making
yes.
sure.
That's
Okay.
it. That's the FCRA. FCRA. Now, any questions with this? You guys get it, right? You guys get it. You don't want to be here. One, they're making money off your backs. 2, you're paying higher interest rates. And 3, this is how the system works. And by the way, this is why when you're trying to, this is why, by the way, they don't remove stuff on their own. Because this is where they're making money. Yeah.
Question, can medical bills affect your credit score?
Thank you. Medical bills.
Yes. Good question.
Credit restoration is such a big topic. When I was talking about that, I said, trust me, this is a huge topic. And there's ways to remove medical bills legally. Yeah, medical bills follow the same process. They have to follow exactly the time they have. Same thing. Now, there's a way to do it. I don't have exact time, but information that I'm going to give you at the end, we will be doing some live stuff. I will be talking just like I am, no different. I'm going to be giving you information, medical bills, how to get $5,000, $10,000 credit card limits, all of this for free. And you just have to like link up and I'll be in touch. Trust me, Odetta is like the king of marketing, so she will be connecting us a lot. So yeah, but yes, you can. You follow the same steps I'm going to give you. If they don't remove it, there's another way to get around by them not following the law.
So, it is
It's
by
possible.
right, if you have any kind of medical bills or anything, take care of it. You know, sometimes they come in the mail,
Oh
you
man, it
see it,
happens
you
to
just
all
take
of us.
whatever.
It's called the $65
Yeah.
co-payment.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it happens to all of us. And we see it every, how many medical bills do we see? I think 80% of our files are medical bills, probably. Yeah, it happens. But it has to follow the same rule.
But with that credit one, that's what they send you to pre-approved.
Yeah, and thank you. That's it. Yeah, they make a
So
big
the
money.
lady over there had asked if you dropped,
Yeah. Oh, how do you get it corrected?
how do you get it corrected?
Okay, here's what,
Yeah.
you're learning this already.
So we just follow the same process going back from the beginning?
Yeah, well, the
just
first thing is
follow
you
it.
look to see if it's reported inaccurately.
Okay.
Now, what happens if it is reported accurately and you really were late? You remember I said you can go to the creditor and you can say, hey, creditor, like work with me here.
Yeah.
Because, and what about now if they don't? That's where credit building comes in. I don't have time to get into credit building today, but like I said, information will give you, you can join so you can get all this for credit building also. But here's the thing, you want to have, let me go there for 1 minute, write this down, please do. While you are removing negative information off your credit, you want to be building your credit at the same time. Don't do like many credit repair companies are doing. I am not complaining about them, I'm not criticizing, I'm just telling you don't do that. What they do is they just remove information. But here's a question for you smart folks. Here's what happens. What happens if I remove everything that's negative and I don't have any credit?
you don't have nothing.
That's it. I'm back to square one. I mean, I'm in a slightly better place, but doesn't mean anything. I still can go up and say, hey, give me 20,000. And you're gonna smile like that again, right? You're not gonna do it. So what you wanna do is strategically, while you're removing information, you want to be building your credit. How do you build your credit? That's what we'll give you during the next sessions we're gonna have.
But that's, okay, I'm hearing a disconnect here.
Sure.
If I have a credit history, because I'm sure all of us here
Yes.
are old enough to have built
Yes.
something, and I'm removing inaccuracies,
Yes.
don't I still have those things that are like solid
do.
and so I don't need to continue?
Absolutely, but here's the rule. This is what you're gonna write down. On your credit report, right? Here's how you get, remember on the flyer, we said how to get to 800?
Yeah.
Right, we promised that. So
Yeah.
here's the rule. I'm gonna give you the formula. You're gonna be like, come on, is this real? Yeah, this is real. Here's how you get it. You need at least 3 credit cards.
Oh,
Yeah.
At least, and you see where I'm going now. At least 3 credit cards. Wait, I'm not done yet. On your credit, at least 3, with consistent limit increases, right? And you can increase, yes, don't trust, at least 3. By the way, this is not to get into debt. It's not to be using the cards. Cards can be used once or twice a year and you're good.
Yeah.
All right? That's it. Remember that, right? Once or twice a year. Now, at least 3 credit cards. Here's the next one. You want at least 1 or 2 loans on your credit.
Okay.
Secure
Does that include
loans.
the student loan?
That student loans are reported a little differently. Here's the weight. I'm going to give you the weight. Write down weight there. And here's how much weight each one of these types of accounts weigh. And by the way, the formula that I'm giving you is literally what we use. I'm giving it to you. Here's the weight. Mortgage has the most weight on your credit files. It weighs the most, guess why? Because it has more responsibility. After that, loan accounts are the second one that has the most weight.
What's an example of a loan account?
A loan account, the one we use, which you will also be able to get when you guys sign up with free, by the way. There's companies out there like Self-Lender, right, that give you a loan account. We'll send you the link. That give you a loan account for $500. And literally, what that does is, it's a savings at the same time, but you are paying interest. It doesn't act like a real savings. But what happens is, they lend you $525, they put it into a certificate of deposit, and what happens is you start paying that account off, right? They give you 2 years, you paid it 6 months, and now every month, something reported to your credit, like if you have a loan. And now it bills, and you only pay like $30 in 6 months. Very, very inexpensive. Don't worry, during the credit building, we'll talk about that. But you want at least 3 credit cards, 1 or 2 loans, right? And if you can, you should add a store card to your credit over time.
So 1 store card.
1. Don't get 10.
But don't get into debt, please
No,
pay.
yes, this is, and by the way, you hear what I'm saying? As long as you use that once or twice a year, you're good. Please don't get into any debt. This is not for debt purposes.
So just to solidify this, you do all of these for 3 credit card, 1 consistent credit increase, 1 or
Yes.
2 loans, and 1 store card after you've built.
During the process.
So you're doing it during the process.
Yeah, here's the thing. No, this is why credit building is a separate topic. Here's credit building is a separate topic, don't mix it. But here's what happens, I'll tell you what we do. That's why we strategically do this, and this is how fast we get people. What we do is we literally, the first account we normally add is a self-lender account. Everybody gets approved. Have you seen one denial on that account? People with 300 get approved. All right? Self-lender, you'll get the link, you'll see it. But what happens is you want to remove an ad. Remove ad. That way, by the time the 12-month period comes around, you're a 740 and above. Now, how do you get to the 800s? Here's the rule. Once you get there, once you're up above 740 and you have the negative stuff cleaned up, and you have a minimum of the stuff that I just told you, the cards, just 3, and the loan, then what you do is just pay your cards on time.
So,
And within 5 years, by the way, 5, 6 years, in less than 8 years, you're there. You're there.
Okay, I'm gonna put myself on the table because I'm
Please.
gonna have to stop speaking in third, second, third
Yeah, that's
person.
okay.
This is this is important. So I have the cards.